Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you a how to paint Beast Snagga boy in 10 minutes. Getting the model from grey plastic to battle ready in no time at all using really simple, really accessible techniques. This kind of painting is for anybody who wants to get their models on the table, looking decent and playing games really quickly. I really hope you like the video.
Okay, to start, we're going to talk about the model and how I prepared it. So with this particular instance, I used some normal sand to put on the base, and then I used Chaos Black and Grey Seer primer spray to basically undercoat the miniature. I gave him one all over coat of Chaos Black, and then I basically gave him a zenithal grey spray of Grey Seer from the top pointing down to catch all the highest reaches. Okay, so we're going to start with the skin. So the paint that we're going to be using to apply the skin is Plague Bear Flesh. It's a really nice green contrast color, and I'm going to be applying this to all of his skin. The important thing to remember about contrast is to load up the brush more than you think. Contrast is super easy to push around the miniature, so it's okay to have a lot of it on your brush. If you have too little on a brush, you're going to like scraping the paint around more, dragging it around than you are applying it. So when you use enough of it, it kind of pulls and kind of pushes itself into all the recesses, which is where you really want it to be. There we have it. Plague Bear Flesh applied to all of the skin. How it's settled into all the recesses, it already looks fantastic. Just do that last hand now. And we are good to go. Super pleased with how that looks already. Okay, next we're going to move on to Gorgrunt of Fur. We're going to use this for all of the brown leather parts. So his pants, all the straps that go around him, his like wristbands, and all those bits and pieces. So same as before, make sure you load up your brush with a good amount and get the coverage all over the brown parts. As you can see here, I actually covered up that tooth with the brown as well. Brown is a fantastic base coat for any of the bone bits. So on any of these models, if you have skulls or teeth or anything, at this stage, just throw in the Gorgrunt of Fur. You can layer it up with bone later on. Be super careful going over the strap on his chest. You don't want to hit the green. You're going to be careful with this bit as well, because we're going to be putting a light color on that skin that's going over his shoulder. So we don't want to hit the brown off of that. Okay, we're going to continue on with the brown. Get all the straps of the weapon, any belts, any other bits and pieces we might have missed. And there we have it. All the brown leather is complete on the miniature. Looks great. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to his black leather boots. So we're going to be using a black contrast, black Templar, and applying a nice thick coat all over his boots. Just like this. As you can see, I loaded my brush quite heavily. I'm going to push the contrast around into all the bits that I want it in. This is such a quick and easy step, an easy way to get black leather boots on a miniature. Okay, now we're going to move over to the orange, which I'm going to apply to all of the parts of the model that are wearing squig skin. So in my Beast Snaggas army, the squigs are going to be orange. So obviously the skins and furs and pelts and stuff that my boys will be wearing will be the same colour as the squigs, just to tie the whole army together. So I'm using the orange contrast. I'm being quite careful not to hit where I don't want to hit. But as you see right here, I accidentally scraped the brush across his abs. And it's super easy to fix. All I do is wash off my brush, make sure the brush has a little bit of water left on it, then I scrape off that contrast, leaving his previous paint completely untarnished and looking well. Load up the brush back with orange and get back at it. Go between his legs to get the back of his tabard. This is a really important part that if I'm batch painting I tend to miss. You need to be careful with this. Kind of annoying going back and having to retouch bits you've missed. Now we're going to cover the entire orc pelt across his back with the same orange contrast. The squig skin on these models are amazingly detailed. I really like how the contrast grabs all the small rivets and all the little dents in his skin and just makes it have really, really nice texture. Something you might miss with a flat base coat. Just getting the last bit now around his shoulder pad. Gonna be super careful not to hit his neck or his face, but as you can see I can be quite careless around the shoulder pad. The shoulder pad's going to be a different color anyway, so it doesn't matter if we hit off of this. This is my whole idea of painting from light to dark, because each darker coat will cover up. So this is what all of the orange looks like in the model. I think it really breaks the model up really well. Obviously an army of these guys on the table is going to look quite good. The orange accents jumping out at you on the table. Okay, now we're going to move on to Basilicanum Grey. We're going to be applying this to all of the weapons and bits that are going to be metallic on this model. So all of his weapon heads and the little spiky bit on the end of his weapon, as well as his big chunky shoulder pad and his pistol. And there you have it. Quick and easy and effective. Already looks great. Yeah, we're going to jump onto the metallics now. We're going to use lead belcher to touch in all the bits on the weapons and armor that are actually supposed to be metallic. So for the pistol, for instance, I'm going to leave the casing of it grey. I really think grey casings work really well on the model. And then all of the barrels, the bullet chain coming out there, the hook on the end, a bit of his handle, and the gun butt will all be done with lead belcher, as well as moving over to his chain weapon. It will be all of the teeth. There's a little axe on the back of it and kind of a spiky bit on the end. All of those bits will get done with lead belcher, and of course his shoulder pad. When people pick up your miniatures, they tend to look at really cool bits like the weapons, so pay a little bit closer attention to the weapons and faces, a little bit more detail onto those, and things like boots and stuff, and people never look at those, so you don't need to put a lot of attention to them. Okay, and that's all the metallic bits that I need to be blocked out on the miniature. And that pretty much is all of the base coats, bar a little bit of Xandri dust that I'm going to throw over his teeth. Like I was saying previously, weapons, the hide on his back and his face are things that people, when they pick up a miniature, are going to be looking at. So I'm going to just put a little bit of Xandri dust on his teeth, just to break up all that green. We'll come back at these teeth later on with a bone colour. And there we have it. His teeth are blocked out with Xandri dust, already breaking up that face nicely. And there we have it. That is all the base coats done on the miniature. The last thing we need to do is throw a Seraphim Sepia wash all over the model. This will tie all those natural tones, the skin, the leather, the squig skin on his back, all of those will be brought together using the Seraphim Sepia shade. So I'm going to do this as an all over shade. And as soon as I put brush to the model, you see the shade flowing into all the bits you want it to go, and really making all those details pop. Like Mom always said, make sure you wash your face, and look at the result from washing the face. Always makes me happy. Stunning. So now I'm going to continue washing all of the model Seraphim Sepia, and then I will show you what the miniature looked like at the end.
Okay guys, and there we have it. Getting a Beast Snagga boy from grey plastic to battle ready in 10 minutes. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give me a subscription, give me a like. I will be posting more videos in the future. The next one I hope to post up is how to paint one of the Beast Snagga squig riders. So you'll get to see the color scheme I use for that, how to get that done really quickly. And with those two videos put together, you can get 90% of the Beast Snagga army box done in no time at all.
Always remember, the plan is simple. We paint them all.